Eric Crozier, play first base from Columbus, Ohio, and I'm a Southern Maryland Blue Crab.
Now, I'm going to start with talking about before your Blue Crab days.
Okay.
You're with the Lancaster Barnstormer. And how you landed in Lancaster.
Well, I landed in Lancaster. Funny thing was I was with the Cincinnati Reds, and Aaron Hurd and I had got to know each other in spring training, and it happened to be we both got sent to Chattanooga that year. And while in Chattanooga, we were roommates, and it just so happened that at the halfway point of the season, what I thought was my call back to AAA was my release from the Reds. As unfortunate as it was, and looking for a team around that time, it was pretty tough. It was around the draft and stuff. So, Aaron had said, "Hey, man, if you can't find a team, my father is the manager of an independent team in Lancaster." So, I thought about it for a little while. Actually, I think it was maybe 3 weeks after I was released that I actually called, Tom, and we spoke, and next thing I know, a week later, I was in Lancaster.
Now, so where have your travels taken you since then to bring you where you are now to Southern Maryland?
Man, it seems like from Lancaster, I ended up signing with Boston after we won the championship that year in '06. I signed with Boston that offseason, and All-Star break with Boston, I was let go, and I went back to Lancaster. Though it wasn't as fun as the time as '06 was, it was still, Lancaster was a place that made you feel really comfortable no matter what. And that off season, I didn't have the same fortune of signing with the team, so Lancaster actually didn't protect me in the expansion draft when Southern Maryland came into the league, and Butch Hobson had picked me up. So '08, I spent the whole season here with Butch, and it was kind of like an up and down season. I suffered an injury, a strained Achilles, so that was kind of just frustrating. It was one of those aching, nagging things that just never went away. And then '09, I signed back with Butch and ended up getting picked up within the first month and a half by Baltimore. And I went with their organization and, played well, but didn't receive that invite back. And here we are in 2010 in Southern Maryland.
Now, I know that the fans in Lancaster, you could play there, they could probably tell you the guys who played there pitched one inning. Mm-hmm. They are so devoted. What's it like for you when you go back to Lancaster with Southern Maryland? How do the fans treat you?
The fans have never changed. It's like I'm still a part of that team and organization. A lot of my friends are still on that team. So it's when I go back, it's like almost like playing your big brother or your cousin or somebody. It's just like a very competitive game within its own, just because it's like friends, and you always want to beat your friend, you always want to beat your brother, whoever it is that you know. You just want to raise your level of competition and play. So some people try to associate it with, are you angry with Lancaster for not protecting you? And it's not an anger thing, but it's just competition.
Now, I've known you since your Indian days, and I've followed the affiliated game for a long time. It seems that within the Atlantic League, and maybe even especially within the ODP teams, I don't know, that there is kind of a almost more of a friendly rivalry among the players. You all know each other. Is this my imagination, or how does it differ within Atlantic League teams playing each other, your relationships with the other players, and going back to a team you played for, versus, say, when Bowie would play Akron?
I think a lot of these guys are older, and therefore kind of gone through the ranks, and people that you know as somebody who you may have played against early on in your career in A-ball, and you play. A lot of the teams play against each other, like the AL East teams. All their minor league affiliates kind of play against each other coming up, and you just kind of see the same faces. And then when you see each other out here again, it's like, oh, hey, where you been and how you been? And so you're more intrigued to know where their career has taken them, which has led them back to here. A lot of guys have gotten the opportunity to go to the majors, but didn't stick for a reason. And it's just, I think the Atlantic League, you just kind of want to know each and every player's story and where they've been.
Now, of what accomplishment in your life, and it can be on or off the field, and it can be a few if you want. You can give me an on and off.
Okay.
Are you proudest?
Off the field, I have to say, just the experience I've had the last 5 years of being a dad, and seeing how my son now likes baseball somehow, some way, just maybe from watching me, maybe from it being naturally put into him. But when I see him in the cage flipping to him and I see him swing the bat, it's like, wow, like this kid, he's just naturally got a knack for baseball. So
Has he come to games here?
Yes. He just left about 2 weeks ago, and he was in here swinging, and everybody was watching him, and he just, to me, it's just amazing just to see life, right in front of your eyes. And on the field, I'd have to say, making it to the big leagues after not being a high pick at all, and every year, nothing was ever easy, and it's just a blessing that it all happened after all that.
Now, I know that, out of Norfolk State, majored in architecture, minored in building construction. If you weren't playing baseball, do you think that that's what you would be involved in now? I mean, do you still have any kind of involvement with that?
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that happening. That's just something I'm always drawing. That's like a hobby of mine off the field that I do often. It's kind of like a stress reliever to draw. So if I wasn't playing ball, then I'm pretty sure I'd be doing something in that field.
Have you designed your dream house?
I'm in the process.
What is it like?
I worked on it and put it down. It's really for the imagination. Architects who are conceptual, they kind of just put different concepts and ideas together. So it's one with pillars with a flame at the top and like all glass entrance. It's kind of weird.
You said that one of your hobbies and outlets is shoes. Can you expand on that just a little bit?
I guess when women have shoe fetish, I guess I can say I'm a guy that has one. I'm not sure of how many pair I own personally, but it's a lot.
Favorite designer? Or
Nike.
Nike. Okay. Have you done the thing where you get to design don't they have a design your own Nike?
Yeah,
You'd be like a natural
Nike
for that.
ID, I haven't done that. Believe it or not, in all my love for the shoes and everything, I've never done that.
I'm going to ask you to complete the sentence. It would surprise people to know that
I'm musically talented. Yeah, I used to play an instrument.
And that was?
Violin and the trumpet.
Was it by choice or
violin was
very
not by
few kids
choice.
pick up violin by choice.
Trumpet was by choice, and I played for 6 years.
What year? How old were you when you played?
I played all through middle school into high school.
Jazz.
Jazz.
What's your thing?
Jazz was my thing.
Yeah. What's the worst job you've ever had?
Oh, Gap warehouse. I think it felt like prison.
Did you at least get discounts?
No, I never took advantage of them. I mean, they were there, but I never used them. I think by being around the merchandise so much in the warehouse, I just had no love to shop.
I'm not too worried about that. Guilty TV pleasure?
Not really a big TV person. If I do, I have to say Law and Order because Law and Order is very interesting, and I guess as a parent, it kind of brings you into what's going on today.
If you could trade places with one person for a day, who would it be and why?
I had to say Obama. I think he's in a position that's very unique. It's so critical of everything that he does, good and bad, that I think I just would like to know how it felt to control so many decisions that affect a nation.
You've played a lot of teams, a lot of interesting guys. Who is the most unique or unusual person you've come across in your pro career?
Orlando Hudson. I think because the attitude he brings to the game is one that can make anybody loose. Even the most nervous person, when you're around Orlando, you can't help but to laugh, relax, and loosen up. And I think he's good for the game.
And finally, what is your favorite aspect of playing for Southern Maryland?
I think how the community has gotten behind us now. I know our first year here in '08, you could see that it was really new. Nobody kind of bought into it then, but now, you know, so many players, so many fans know us by name, and they know so much about us that I think it's very intriguing how much the support has grown in a short period of time.
Do you live with a host family?
I do.
Have you had the same for the 3
I
years?
have. Even when I left to go to Baltimore last year, I commuted from where I stayed to the team. So they are awesome people.
Awesome.